Welcome to Invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. As the current time on Thursday, December 8th, around noontime, Ethereum closed at $1,250, up about 1.54% so far. On the over crypto market, I would say as of this morning, the overall market is relatively, consolidating at the respective technical level. If you look into the altcoins side of the equation, we are relatively mixed bag. We're just consolidating as we approach closer and closer to the obviously end of this week. But next week is going to be quite volatile with the 13 and 14, the CPI report, the FOMC meeting, laying out what's the outlook for the economy going forward, summarizing what has happened this year. But with respect to the quadruple rate hikes of 75 basis points that we have had so far, what's going to be the next rate hikes? Are we going to go with 50 basis points? Are we going to go with 75 basis points again? Are we increasing the intensity? Or are we going to be shifting onto a recessionary environment next year, based on the recent verbiage that we heard from Jamie Dimon? So we'll dive into that in piece by piece. Let's take a look at the market front real quick. With respect to the media front, you can see that across the spectrum, Dow Jones, S&P, Nasdaq, and Russell are all flat, but up. You can see that the VIX is not changed. It's up or down 0%. Seems like there is a lack of movements. And with respect to the key news that we're seeing, it seems like there isn't anything that's specific. It seems like the overall market momentum is just trading based on the technical momentum rather than an actual event-driven momentum. But with respect to some news that we are, obviously it's more trivial based on the collections that we see. FTX spokesman Kevin O'Leary said he lost $15 million payday due to the crypto firm FTX, obviously, as we all know, blew up in our face. So, this is more trivial, but if this is the news that is like the breaking news, there isn't anything that is really worth mentioning today. And with respect to other news that we're seeing, it seems like the House of Representatives have passed the landmark bill to protect same-sex marriages, sent it to Biden's desk. So it seems like that's a pretty sizable bill that's being passed onto the government. And some trivial news again. The WNBA star Brittany Griner is free from the Russian prison for the swap of an arms dealer. And then, just across the spectrum, the news are relatively not the most substantive. The main catalyst that we need to really focus our energy and prioritize our mindset on is really next week, 13 and 14, CPI FOMC meeting, right? And then take a look at the whales. What have they been doing yesterday? So it seems like yesterday they sold a ton of stocks on the BlackRock front, relative to buying a little bit here and there. But with respect to the buying activity, the most is really coming from some sort of a weird stock. Like, I don't know what these are. Kanzun American Depository, Penumbra. It's a small amount. More, I think it's probably like a technical analysis rather than an actual, incentive of like bullish or bearish momentum. But they did it probably just to normalize the portfolio a little bit. And on the ARK Invest side as well, it's definitely more of a sell date as well. It seems like it was a collective, mutual understanding that this Friday will ideally be a good, I guess, a hedge day for them to buy. So we triangulate into more of a buy day. So technically, you see like green and red, like basically, consecutively for the last couple of days. I wouldn't be surprised if they were doing some sort of swing trade, making some incremental dollars on a day-to-day basis. And so let's dive into technical. With respect to recording time of 12:09 p.m. on the Eastern time, we are at, again, 12:50. We have not really moved much. We have not moved much for a long time. And ultimately, what's the real technical analysis that we need to really look at is to look at all spectrum. So it's good that we are very hands-on and very focused on understanding this on a day-to-day basis. Give us a good understanding psychologically and how we can proactively react going forward. So it seems like on the technical front, we're at 1250, which is a technical resistance level. The next level down is going to be somewhere around, again, right, 1050. And with the daily looking quite extended right now, also like there are a lot of rejections up on top around 50 out of 70. It is looking, not the best. I think what this is telling us is that we might see some short-term dump as we get closer to next week on the FOMC and CPI report. And as we get over that hump on a weeks out, we should ideally see some sort of a reversal. But we ultimately need to fix this, right? You can see that clearly. We are still quite elongated. We need to kind of correct this with this like quadruple heads, 1, 2, 3, 4. So ideally see some lower levels back to the 30 out of 70. So that means seeing 1050 again would not be a surprise to us. Also on the monthly, you could see that we are already quite consolidated, right? We have had this like peak where we reach all the way to the top of approximately 4,850. And now we're on the opposite side of the spectrum. So buying around these levels is actually very logical and very tolerable in a risk management perspective. And then on the Bitcoin side of the equation, I would say it's quite comparable. Weekly is also showing some sort of bearishness, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is looking to kind of come down eventually. On a daily front, you could see that we're quite elongated with this like relatively large separation. With this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heads. At $17,000 at the moment right now. So I think what we need to really come down to is again like 15,500, 15,000, sorry, would be an ideal level for us to recuperate our momentum to pump up from here. So still, again, short-term bearishness, but months and weeks out, I do see some bullish momentum as the market start to recycle back into the bullish trend again. And then on the index front, you could see that clearly we are doing what we need to do. On the daily, it is clearly showing some bearishness, right? You could see that we need to come down to the 385 as the next bounce, so we still have some room to come down to, which I think next week will be a good reason for us to get there. And it seems even more prominent on the weekly with the large separation. So coming down to 385 again, right? So still a lot, about like 10, is it dollars or index points away from it. And then with respect to the monthly, it is still looking, quite bullish on the months out, right? Looking to consolidate and glide and then take off from there. Okay. So appreciate you for your patience. Apologies for a little bit later than usual. Yesterday for not posting either. Yesterday was fun. I was in several different galas and events. I was at the Robin Hood Foundation breakfast, which I sat alongside with some of the world leaders, which I was, very, very fortunate to be part of that event, celebrating a lot of the heroes in our generation. And then subsequent to that, I went to the CIBC event for something that's called Miracle Day, hosted by Eric Price, which is the head of the bank. And he invited like 40 to 50 celebrities to be going to this office. Invited like 50 kids from high schools and low income backgrounds to meet and greet a lot of the celebrities. And then ended my day with just a holiday party at a bank. I know I work with a lot of people on Wall Street, so a lot of events are held at the office, so which I spent a lot of time on yesterday. I am going to several meetings later today. I'm going to meet with someone that is in the Wall Street Journals. I am going to meet with someone that is a venture investor. She's also a podcast woman. And then I'm going to end the night with a party. I'm going to a house party on the Upper East Side. So it seems like my social calendar is quite jam-packed. So it's part of the game. It's part of the job. Frankly, quite, exhausted from the trip in Miami. And but it's good that I'm still, managing, But I appreciate you for your support. And part of my wish is to continue to build my Patreon accounts. Hopefully you guys can support me. It is one of my streams of income, and with me just like working like this. It's great to have people to support. So if there's a way that you can support me, that will be appreciated. And also subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. I hope that what I'm doing and the gift that I'm doing for you guys is instrumental and also beneficial to your value creation, and obviously I guess you learned something new as well. So appreciate you. Seems like the number of Ethereum is still at 1250. It seems like has not really changed since I began talking. I've been talking for 10 minutes so far. Interesting. But anyways, have a good one and take care.